Hi, so today I'm going to be solving radical equations. So just to start out, I'm going to have the square root of 8 minus x plus 3 is equal to 5. So our goal is to get this by itself first. That's our first step. So to do that, we have to subtract this 3 over. So now we'll have the square root of 8 minus x is equal to 2. Now, we can't solve for x yet because we have this square root over the 8 and the negative x. So, we have to do the opposite. So, if you have a square root, to cancel it out, you square both sides. So, we just square both sides, and that will cancel it out, so we just have 8 minus x is equal to 4. Now, to get rid of this 8, so we can have x by itself, we just have to subtract the 8. So now we'll have negative x is equal to negative 4. Then we just divide by negative 1. And we have x is equal to 4. And that is your answer. Now for our next problem, we'll have the square root of 3x plus 1 is equal to 4. Now, we don't have any extra number here, so we don't have to worry about that, about adding anything over yet. So all we have to do now is just square both sides to cancel out the square root. 3x plus 1 is equal to 16. Now we just subtract this 1 over. We have 3x is equal to 15. Divide by 3. And we have x is equal to 5. Now we're going to do one with a cubed root. And it's really just the same thing, but there's just one little difference, which is, you'll see in a second. So it's x, so the cubed root of x plus 15 is equal to 3. So instead of squaring both sides, we'll cube both sides. So instead of this 3 being a 9, it will actually be a 27 because we have to multiply it 3 times. 3 times 3 times 3. So we'll have x plus 15 is equal to 27. We'll subtract the 15 over, and we'll have x is equal to 12. So this next problem's a little different because we have a coefficient in front of this square root. So we have 2 square root of x is equal to x. So the first thing we're going to do is square both sides just to make things easier. So we have to cube this 2 to get 4. Then just becomes x is equal to x squared. So now this becomes 4x equals x squared. And then we just subtract this 4x over, and we have x squared minus 4x is equal to 0. You could write that either way. Now, we see there's an x squared, and then there's 4x. So now we have to factor this out. And we have x times, and then x minus 4 is equal to 0. Now, if we set both of these equal to 0 to solve for x, we have x is equal to 0, and we have x is equal to 4 after we add this negative 4 over. And so if you plug both of these in, you will see that they work, and they are your answers. So this next problem is going to look pretty different from the rest. So we have x to the 1/4 plus 4 is equal to 7. So the first thing we will do to isolate this x is subtract this 4 over. So x to the 1/4 is equal to 3. So how do we get rid of this 1/4? So we know that x to the 1/4, if we add an exponent here, we would have to multiply these two together. So we would want something that cancels that out. So 1/4 times what will give you 1, which is 4. So we would put 4 here, and we put a 4 here. And also, 1/4 is the same thing as a 4th root, just like you could write 1 over 2 is the same thing as square rooting something. So yes. Either way, this would cancel out if you multiplied it together. It would just equal 1. So now we would have x to the 1 is equal to 81. And that is your answer. So I hope you enjoyed this video today on how to solve radical equations. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them. Thank you.